In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at what subtraction is. I already have videos posted that cover the addition and subtraction of integers, in other words, positive and negative numbers. So I will post those in the description below, and with these, we're just going to move into them and do them. So what we're going to notice is that subtraction is adding the opposite. And what this means for us is that we can always change subtraction into addition. And that's good news because addition is generally easier and more useful than subtraction. So let's get started. In our first example, we have 3 minus 2. We use the takeaway model of subtraction. So here's 3. We take away 2, we're left with 1, and that's our answer. This was a subtraction problem, so we did take away. On the other side of the page, we've got an addition problem. We'll also be using our markers here, but when we're doing an addition problem, we don't do take away, we do push together. So I've created a set for the 3. Now I'll create another set for the other addend, negative 2, and we push those sets together. What happens when we do that is that 2 0 pairs are created. So what I have is 1 plus 0 plus 0. So the zeros can be removed and we're still left with 1. Notice that for both of these problems, we get the same result. We get a result of 1. So minus a positive number is the same as addition of a negative number. So let's consider our next example. In this case, we have subtraction here on the left. So I'm going to represent the minuend, or the first number, using my chips or tiles. So there is my negative 4. And this is takeaway. This is subtraction. We're going to take away one of the negatives. We're going to take away a negative 1. There we go. We're left with negative 3. So negative 4 minus negative 1 is negative 3. On the other side, we have an addition problem. So once again, I represent the first number with a set. The addend negative 4 is represented like this. Then I'm going to add 1, but with addition, you represent both numbers. You represent them both, and then you do the adding by pushing together. Well, when I do the push together, I notice that I get a 0 pair up here. So that's going to 0 out and may be removed. And what we have left is 3 negatives, or negative 3. So minus a negative number is the same as plus a positive. Minus turned into plus, and a negative 1 turned into a positive 1. Now sometimes students are shown a cute little trick like this, and their teacher says, oh, you can change minus negative into plus negative. Or they'll say something like 2 negatives make a positive. And this will work in this sort of a situation, but it doesn't really give us deep understanding or flexibility with it. And as future teachers, we need to have a deeper understanding of why this works, how this works, when this works. Moving on to our next example. We have 2 minus negative 2. That is subtraction. We're going to use the takeaway model. So I represent the 2 in this way. There's our positive 2. But now I need to take away 2 negatives. I don't have any red markers in there. I can't take away 2 negatives. So what we do is we put some 0 pairs in there. This is 2. But this is also equal to 2 because it's 2 plus 0. This whole set is still also equal to 2 because it's 2 plus 0. But now that I've put these 0 pairs in there, I can go ahead and take away 2 negatives. And when I do that, I'm left with positive 4. Okay. Moving to the addition problem, we represent each addend with a set. Here is 2. Here is another 2. Addition is pushed together. I push these together, and that leaves us also with a positive 4. Again, our results match. We get a 4 here, we get a 4 here. Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. Subtraction is adding the opposite. So we can always change subtraction into addition. And that's often a very powerful, very helpful thing to do. Moving on to our last example, we have -4 minus 3 and -4 plus -3. We are going to do the takeaway model for subtraction. So here is our -4, and I need to take away 3 positives. I don't have 3 positives there to take away. So again, we add in some 0 pairs. That's -4. I have 4 negatives. Plus 0 is still -4. Plus another 0 is still -4. Plus another 0 is still -4. So the step I'm at right now, I'm still just representing my -4. But I'm setting it up so that I can take away 3 positives, and in order to do so, I need some positives in there to work with, and the 0 pairs help me do that. 0 is most definitely more than nothing. 0 is very important to us. So we take away 3, and we count what we have left, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all red, so that's negative. We have -7 as a result. Now let's do this problem using addition. We've got -4. That's our first addend. And then we create a set of -3. So here's the -4, here's the -3. Addition is pushed together. So I push these 2 sets together. And I count up the result. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So -4 plus -3 is also -7. As mentioned, I will link some previous videos in the description so that you can go back and review the takeaway model and the addition model for integers, and also a video for 0 pairs, and that may help a little bit as you're studying this.